And welcome back to another episode of Live Your Best Life Now. You're on the mic with Dr. H, the Global Mentor Coach. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you live your best life now, obviously. How do you do that? It all boils down to a few simple things. But one of the first things is getting real with ourselves about who we are and what we like. So, in this particular episode, I want to talk about coming out of hiding. I did um, a session with a co-host last week. It recently aired yesterday on my Facebook page. We talked about what to do coming out of hiding because I said to my co-host, too many people don't know who they are. We go through life in search of defining ourselves and trying to figure out what to do or who I should be based off of all of these different things. And the reality is we aren't any of those things. And we can't be the best versions of ourselves possible, trying to be this person over here to please this faction of people, and being this person over here because this is what I think people want me to do, and being this person to get a bunch of likes and followers, and being this person, and we're fragmenting ourselves, not realizing that none of that is making us happy. None of it is helping us fulfill purpose. None of it is helping us, be successful. It's not getting us to that desired end of being fulfilled as a person and knowing who we are. Your identity is everything. And so faking it until you make it or trying to be someone that you are not, it's exhausting. It's really, really exhausting. So we kind of went over a few things that, what help you, you come out of hiding, so to speak. And so we covered so many things, everything from feelings, because a lot of times we try to bury our feelings, or we try to, contain our feelings because for any number of reasons, but that can be toxic to us, even good feelings. So one of the first things we said was feel what you feel, but don't stay there. It's something that I say all the time, because it's true. You don't want to stay in this same cycle. You want to keep moving forward. It's all about forward progress. And so that was one, though. One of the things we talked about uncovering the mask. Who are you beneath the layers of all of these different facades that you have on? It's important to be vulnerable with yourself. Coming out of hiding means facing yourself, your insecurities, all of those different things, and then determining, what are those teachable moments in my life that will lead me to healing and wholeness. That is so critical to living your best life now. Facing your insecurities, being vulnerable with yourself, because if you can't be vulnerable with you can't be vulnerable with anybody else. A lot of times we can't receive friendship, love, affection from other people because we don't like ourselves. We don't give it to ourselves because we don't like ourselves. And that's a sad reality, Some people just don't get to know themselves because they're afraid of what they'll find. But you can't you can't enjoy life that way. You can't figure out how to maximize the time that you have, the experiences on this earth that are out there to be had, if you don't really know what you like to do. So one of the things I recommended was just start trying stuff. By process of elimination, listen, this whole thing about figuring out who you are is trial and error. It is absolutely trial and error. So you're not going to know what it is until you try it out. Try different things. It's okay. I promise. So, the other thing is establish boundaries for yourself, because boundaries help other people function around you. What you allow kind of dictates and controls your life. And so if you allow disrespect, you're just going to be surrounded by that. Create boundaries for yourself. Now, a lot of times these boundaries can cause conflict, but it it just depends. I mean, as you grow and develop, your boundaries are going to change. Why? Because you're not the same person that you were, and that's a good thing. But establishing those boundaries, the conflict is not within yourself always. It's within other people, because other people are not used to you having boundaries, but those boundaries are healthy and necessary. Really, they are. And so another thing we said was admit you don't know yourself. I mean, that's always like the first thing, you go through any step program, any program, they admitting. It's the first step. It's okay to say that you don't know yourself. It's okay to admit that. I don't know myself. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I don't like. That's so liberating and free. Man, I tell you, the best moment of your life is when you can honestly say, I don't really know what I like. I don't really know me. Because now you've opened the door to finding out who you are, to finding out what you like, and taking the necessary steps to have fun with yourself. Now you can figure out, do I like flowers? Do I not like flowers? What kind of flowers do I like? Do I like plants instead of flowers? Do I like tea or coffee or hot chocolate or both or all of them? Do I like popcorn? Do I like butter in my popcorn? Do I like salted? Do I like the sweet kind of popcorn? What do I like? What kind of movies do I like? What am I in the mood for? You can start exploring life to figure out, am I adventurous? Am I an outdoors person? What kind of outdoors person am I? Do I like hiking? Do I like the beach? Do I like sitting poolside? Do I like the sun? Do I like just sitting by the lake? Do I like fireside chat? What do I like to do? And sometimes figuring out what you like to do is by eliminating the things that you don't like to do. And that kind of helps create and shape the world that you live in. So that was one of the things we talked about. We talked about growth and awareness, culture, transition. Listen, anytime you're facing a transition in life, it is, oh my goodness, life transition. Listen, is huge, because you'll find another part of yourself that you didn't know is there. I'm telling you. Um, you know, uh, Certain things that happen in life will shock you, and it will shift and change you into a different person. Grief and loss is one of them. It's huge, and some people just don't deal with it well. Midlife crisis, you get to a certain age, people freak out at those times. Having a baby, a family, losing your job, or changing careers. There's so many different things. Like, transition happens. You get married, you get divorced, you adopt a child, or it's just all kinds of things. Transition helps. It shapes you. It changes you. It makes you become a different person. So now you've got to figure out who this new person is. My co-host is engaged now. She's getting married next year. So she's in transition. That's a huge transition. She went from being girlfriend to fiance. Now she's about to be a whole wife. And so I said that in her own words, a whole wife. So, that's transition, because she's got to establish a new set of boundaries, and just all of these different things to figure out, who is she, what kind of wife do I want to be, what kind of this do I want to be, what kind of home do I want to have. And I'm not just talking about the outside, but what kind of atmosphere do I want to create in my home, and just all of those different things. That's a transition. That's a lot going on. And so being vulnerable, exposing yourself to different things, and seeing your own growth and being aware of that growth is important to coming out of hiding and determining who you are, or more importantly, who you want to be. Because once you discover who you are, if you don't like that person, you are the person responsible for creating the person you want to be. Who would you like to like? What would you like about yourself? Who would you like to be? If you are a liar, if you discover that you tell lies and you don't want to tell lies anymore, what is it going to take for you to stop? Now, I will say this, it's not going to be easy. It's hard work, and you must do the work. But listen, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. I say this all the time. So you want to make sure that you do the work, push through. When it's hard and you want to give up, don't. Keep going. Do it anyway. Don't ever give up on perfecting who you are. When I say perfecting who you are, I'm not saying be perfect, because there's no such thing, because we're human, we're flawed, we have flaws. I mean, come on, I have a mole right here, flaws. So but those flaws give us character, and it's our character that makes the world colorful, you know. And so embrace your flaws, embrace who you are, own it. And if there's something about you don't like, first of all, figure out why you don't like it. Don't just immediately jump into changing it. That's not healthy, because then you'll probably make more unhealthy decisions that could adversely affect you. One, you want to figure out, why don't I like this about me? Am I seeing this part of me through the lens of society, through somebody else's eyes, through some other means? If the answer is yes, that's not the way to go. You want to figure out why now, if the reason why you don't like it is because you have this image of yourself that you've always wanted to be, but for some reason in trial and error, you just have never been able to penetrate that, you need to get some accountability partners and find some people who can help you ask the right questions so you can dig deeper to figure out, where did this concept come from? Was this something that was instilled in you by a parent or a teacher, community leader, somebody in your church, parish, synagogue, or whatever? Where did this idea image come from? Something that you saw, whether it was on TV or watching people. I like to people watch. So, maybe watching people in the park or whatever. But you got to really analyze and dissect your own thoughts about yourself, and these images and thoughts of who you believe you should be versus who are you really. Most of the time we don't like ourselves because we aren't our true selves. We're this imitation version, because we believe that this imitation version is who the world or other people want us to be, and that's going to make us more likable. The reality is the world feeds off of who we are, our own energy. And if we don't love, value, and appreciate ourselves, they aren't going to do either. It's whatever we get from them is going to be fake, because, to be honest, we're just a walking, I don't know, billboard of fake, never really exposing the true nature of who we are. And again, it's okay to say, I don't like the true nature of who I am. I want to change. And then, I don't know how to change. That's where you invest in yourself. Get a coach, get somebody to help you make those transitions, ask those questions, dig deeper, and to help you really figure out what's going on up here, so that you can manifest that best version of yourself possible. Because sometimes we don't have the questions. We can't help ourselves. We need other people to kind of help push us along, and that's okay. So coming out of hiding, one of the things we talked about was, how do you know you're in hiding? How do you know when, you don't know who you are? First of all, I said, are you defensive? I mean, defensive about everything. Are you defensive about everything? Just always defensive for no reason. Are you petty? And I mean just all the time. I mean all the time petty. Are you in denial? Are you having moments of clarity? Frequent moments of clarity. That means something is happening to where the light bulb is cutting on to say, okay, there's something happening and I need to examine this. I need to kind of dig deeper. I need to go down this road a little bit more. Real freedom, that's what real freedom is. Real freedom is not things. Real freedom, comes from within, knowing who you are, figuring out what you appreciate about yourself and others, embracing the totality of who you are and yourself. And so Coming out of hiding is all about determining who you are and, finding that out. And a lot of times, sometimes we find out that who we thought we were is not who we are. And the other thing is sometimes we find out that who we are is not likable. And it's not always easy to figure out how to transition into a likable person. That's where sometimes you just, again, get somebody to help you. You've got to have accountability partners. You've got to have a safe space. You've got to have some people that you can run stuff by who will tell you the truth, not what you want to hear. Too many times we're still walking around this billboard of everybody else and their version of who we are, who they believe we should be, because they're yes people, they're hype men, or they're telling us what they think they want us to, that what they think we want to hear, or who they think we should be, instead of really helping us dig and uncover who we really are. We can't live our best lives now living a facade. We just can't. So, check that out over on Facebook. It's Magnificent International. I don't know what the handle is, but just look it up and you'll find it. It's called #Tuesday Tips. It was a great episode. It's called Coming Out of Hiding. So go check that out. Watch the full video. It is a 2-part series. The next part will be out in 2 weeks. So stay tuned. Be on the lookout for that. We're pretty excited. That was a great show. We really dug into some really good stuff, shared some personal things. So check out that video. I'm telling you, every other Tuesday we release a video on Tuesday Tips. We did one on Mother's Day. Back in January, we started some tips. I think we did like a top 20 countdown of some things you can do to make 2019 your best year ever. So you can always go back and watch those too. They're also on our YouTube channel. So you can go watch that as well. But go check it out on our Facebook page, Magnificent International. It's called #Tuesday Tips. You can't find it, just search the #Tuesday Tips. And I'm telling you, you'll find it. We got some other great videos there, but that's the whole point of Tuesday Tips, to kind of provide some helpful information that can really, really help propel your life. And so I really wanted to bring that particular, episode here to this podcast and share it with you, some few things from there that we uncovered to help you come out of hiding and to figure out who you are, and again, a lot of times we don't do that because we're afraid of who we will uncover ourselves to be, or because, hey, I don't like myself. And I'm afraid that I don't like myself. But, hey, understanding is the best thing that you could ever do for yourself. You got to understand yourself. Because if you don't understand yourself, you can't help other people, understand you and appreciate the real you. If the real you don't like color, it's all right. There are other people in this world that don't like color too. Real you don't like horror movies? I don't do horror movies. Guess what? There's other people who don't watch horror movies either. It's okay. I promise. It's okay. So thanks for tuning in with me, Dr. Ace, the Global Mentor Coach. You've been on the mic. This is Live Your Best Life Now. Thanks for listening to this podcast. If you like it, make sure that you share it, support it. If there's some topics you want me to cover, feel free to reach out to me at info@globalmentorcoach.com. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to spread lots of love and light.